Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel of Evolution. I am Shuby. I am here today with a video on avoidance. And the reason for this is because I had a dream last night that, I wasn't actually going to record or write down like I normally do, which is kind of weird, but I was just not feeling it. But then at the end of my dream, a few words had came up and this idea came up and it just hit me. And I realized that I need to write this down. And so as I was writing it down, I might have lost a lot of the details in it, but it brought me here to this urge that I needed to make this video. And so here we are. We are going to dive into avoidance and why we shouldn't avoid anything, because we need to stand up, take on our fears, overcome our shit, and just get after it, because that is, where we find our strength. So I guess I'll start with explaining the dream. I did what I normally do in this dream. I was going into this coffee shop to do some writing. And as I was in there looking over my pages, I had noticed two people that were separated, sitting in different tables. They were both elderly, and they both had walkers. One was male, one was female. Now, there was music playing in the background, and they were both tapping their feet, and you just had this vibe that these two people were connected, but for some reason avoiding each other. And interestingly enough, you could see them making and breaking eye contact, avoiding each other, making sure the other didn't see. And you kind of got that feeling. So anyways, later on, the man got up and just left, and he looked like agitated and slightly bitter, and I ended up following him outside, and he was sitting at a park bench, and I went up to him, and we started talking, and I was asking him what was up, and then he just started unloading on me. And he was like, well, she's just so stubborn, and, we're always arguing over trivialities, and I can't handle this, and this and that. And he was avoiding what was holding him back. He was avoiding his problems, and he was repressing and suppressing all of this, emotion that is just gonna cause a massive energy leak, and that will come up later on in this video too. So anyways, I was like, you should probably go talk to her. And he just started unloading all these excuses. I said, you just need to end this, just go talk to her, tell her how you feel, and then it's done. Leave it at that. And he's like, well, and then he said, I can't. My walker has a bad bearing, and I am not going to fix it. And I said, he said, I'm not going to fix it because I can't change it. And I said, you are going to change because you don't replace that bearing more than you are going to change if you do. And the reason being is because that walker was a representation of his stability. He was not on stable ground because he was holding on to this negative emotion and just leaking his energy out, right? He was avoiding the situation because it hurt. He was avoiding the situation because he didn't want to suffer. But not fixing this bearing, is making him wobbly, because now all of that energy is going to flow out of his knees, and make him weak, and he's unstable because it's not being corrected, and it's not being fixed, and it's not being taken on, it's not being faced. It's completely avoided, and therefore he's going to die a bitter old man who can barely walk. You know, he's losing all of that life. I woke up after that, after I said that he should replace the bearing. I walked away and woke up. So I don't really know what exactly happened, if anything happened. But it's really interesting because avoidance is so common. You know, people don't talk to people because they don't want to get rejected or kicked out of the group, you know, because that makes them feel vulnerable or insecure or, you know, odd, left out. You know, people also lie to people, right? They don't want to hurt people's feelings, so they'll blatantly lie, like, hey, how does this tie look? Oh, it looks like shit. I would go with that one. You can't just say that. That's honesty. Now, nope. Instead, you say, hey, it looks great. And then they go out and then everyone rips on him in public because he looks like shit. And why is that? Because you never had the guts to tell him that he looked like shit. And that was the truth. You know, you don't have to be that harsh. But it would have been a lot better if you were in your truth and you didn't avoid, you know, worrying about hurting his feelings, because it's going to hurt his feelings a lot worse that he just went out and got ripped on by 1,000 people than being lied to by his own friend who said that he looked great and lied to him. You know, he could have been like, hey, I think you should do this instead. Be all right. And then he would have went out and been like, boom, 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 boom. And, you know, 30 seconds of crap. I made the wrong choice, but I'm going to accept that. And now I can learn from that. That's what happens when you face something. You know, when you have to be honest with yourself, you have to be honest with everything, and you have to look at things as truth. And you don't have to put a negative or a positive judgment or emotion on things. You just need to go after there and face shit, you know? Yeah, it's going to be hard. You know, yeah, you're going to suffer. Yeah, it's going to hurt. But that's where strength comes from. You don't build muscles without lifting weights, you know, and you tear a muscle to build a muscle. You have to put in the work. You know, you want to learn how to create light? Spend time in darkness. Because if you spend every day in a well-lit space, you don't care or will ever think about creating light because it's all around you. Go into the darkness and you will master the light. And so anytime a dark situation comes up, you know how to create it. And now you are the person that is reliable enough to help people out in those situations because you can show people how to create the light. You don't give them light. You help them create their own. You know, that's the difference. You need to teach people. You don't protect people. You push people to be their best. If you protect them, they don't learn nothing. Now everybody wants this simple life that's filled with happiness and joy. But the truth is always going to be there, that the happiest moments in your life are times that you overcome major suffering. That is the greatest thing you will ever feel. Ever. I can promise you that. And this is why I push people. Maybe too hard at times. I know I've pushed a lot of people right out of my life because I'm hoping that people will be like, hey, I'm going to ask you to go through hell. It's true. I am going to ask you what you're afraid of. And then after you have openly told me what you're afraid of, I'm going to bring it up. And I'm going to present it to you as a gift. And you may hate me for that. A lot of people have. A lot of people do. But there are people that I have been deeply connected with because of putting them through that hell. Because now they have something that nobody else can give them except for themselves. They gave it to themselves. I just encouraged them to find it. You can't avoid the pain. You can't avoid the suffering. If you want something, or not even if you want something, you should need this. These are basic instincts that we should have. Strength should be something we have. So when anytime a negative situation comes up, we are able to stand up. It's like Jordan Peterson says, you need to be the strongest person at your father's funeral. Yes, it sucks. Yeah, it's going to be tough. But everybody there is suffering, and they need somebody who can be strong enough to lean on and to hold things together. And that can be you. But you need to quit avoiding the things that are going to make you suffer and the things that are going to hurt you. And you need to face them, go after them, correct them, strengthen them. Build these muscles, and you will find that fear does not affect you as it does now. You will see a situation come up, and instead of jumping up and panicking and overreacting and having your heart fly out of your chest, you're going to look at it, you're going to be able to evaluate it, you're going to be able to plan, and then you're going to be able to go after it and conquer it. But you need to keep that level head. And that level head only comes from practice. So the more you push yourself into those shitty situations, the better and the stronger you become. So quit avoiding these situations and get out there and go after it. Your intuition tells you these things all the time. My dreams tell me this all the time. I guarantee your dreams will tell you this. You just need to learn how to interpret them. And if you can understand what your intuition is always telling you, it may be good, it may be bad, but there's always good from it. You just need to find it. It may be tough, but you can find the good if you look. Because every time you get kicked, you build muscle. You build endurance. You build resilience. Because the next person who comes and kicks you, you can either take him out or you can just stand there, take a shot, and still stand there, unfazed, because you can handle it. You are strong because you faced it. I love you guys. Every day, if you have an opportunity, face your fears. Become better, become your best. Have a great day. Much love.